The observation deck of the Intergalactic Military Academy hummed with the usual efficiency of 1,000 different species going about their training. Maya stood at the reinforced viewing port. Her 4 arms crossed in what her human colleagues had taught her was a posture of contemplation. The crystalline structures that composed her Vexarian physiology caught the light from the distant star, refracting it into patterns that indicated her troubled state of mind. "You requested this meeting, Instructor Maya," came the voice of Commander Zekther, his chitinous frame clicking as he approached. "The Council is curious about your petition." Maya turned, her optical sensors focusing on the assembled group. 12 species, 12 different military traditions, all united under the Galactic Defense Initiative. And all of them, she knew, about to have their understanding of warfare fundamentally altered. "I did," she said, her voice modulated through the translator implant. "I've been studying the human training protocols. What I've found, it contradicts everything we know about their combat effectiveness." The murmur that rippled through the council chamber was expected. Humans had only joined the GDI-15 standard cycles ago, but their impact had been immediate and undeniable. In every simulation, every training exercise, every unfortunate actual engagement with the Void Swarm, human soldiers displayed a tactical creativity and resilience that defied conventional military doctrine. "We've reviewed their adult training extensively," said Instructor Kalmoth, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with irritation. "It's unconventional but effective. What more is there to understand?" "Everything," Maya replied. She activated the holo display. "I didn't look at how they train soldiers. I looked at how they train children." The first image materialized above the conference table. William Chen, age 7 standard Earth years, sitting in a brightly colored room surrounded by other juvenile humans. The alien instructors leaned forward, their various sensory organs straining to comprehend what they were seeing. "This is a human educational facility," Maya explained. "What they call a school. Notice the complete absence of weapons training, combat simulations, or survival protocols." "Then what are they doing?" Zekther demanded. "Learning to read," Maya said softly, "to calculate mathematics, to paint pictures and sing songs." The silence in the room was profound. She advanced the footage. William, now 8, on a playground with dozens of other children. They were running, chasing, laughing, engaging in what the humans called play. "Observe," Maya continued. "The juvenile named William has just fallen. He's injured his knee, a minor wound, nothing that would interrupt training in any of our protocols." The assembled instructors watched as an adult human approached, knelt down, and gently cleaned the wound. Then, and this was what made Maya pause the footage, the adult embraced the child. "Physical comfort," she said. "In response to pain, not discipline, not hardening, comfort." "This is absurd," Kalmoth hissed. "How do humans become warriors if they're coddled as juveniles?" "That's what I asked," Maya said, "so I compiled more data." The next series of images showed William at different ages. At 9, participating in what humans called a science fair, building a small volcano that erupted with chemical foam. At 10, crying in his mother's arms after his pet, a small domesticated creature called a dog, had died. At 11, learning to play a stringed instrument called a guitar, his fingers clumsy on the frets. "Where is the tactical training?" Zekther asked. "Where is the weapons familiarization, the strategic conditioning?" "There is none," Maya said. "Human children are not trained for war, they are trained for life." She pulled up another file. "This is what disturbed me most. I asked the human liaison, Captain Sarah Rodriguez, about their juvenile development protocols. She laughed, a human expression of amusement, and said, 'We don't train children to be soldiers, we raise them to be people.'" The council chamber erupted in confusion. Voices overlapped, translators struggling to keep pace with the cacophony of disbelief. "Silence," Zekther commanded. Instructor Maya, you're saying that humans achieve their combat superiority despite having no early military conditioning. No, Maya corrected. I'm saying they achieve it because they have none. She played the final piece of footage. William, now 17 in his final year before adult military service eligibility, but he wasn't in a training facility. He was in a hospital, volunteering his time to read stories to sick children. In another clip, he was helping rebuild a community center damaged by storms. In another, he was teaching younger children how to play the guitar he'd learned years before. I don't understand, Kalmoth said, her bioluminescence dimming in confusion. Maya took a deep breath, a human gesture she'd adopted. I asked Captain Rodriguez to explain their philosophy. She said something I've been processing for 3 solar cycles. We don't train children to fight because we need adults who know what they're fighting for. She advanced to combat footage, real engagement recordings from the Battle of Proxima Threshold. There was William, now 22, a junior tactical officer. The alien instructors watched as the human unit faced a void swarm assault that should have broken their lines. But something extraordinary happened. When a Thurian soldier fell, wounded, William didn't follow protocol, which would have been to let the medics handle it while maintaining position. Instead, he broke formation, pulled his alien comrade to safety, and stayed with him, providing covering fire while calling for medical support. Tactical error, Zekthur muttered. Tactical genius, Maya corrected. Watch the Thurian soldier's face. The footage zoomed in. The Thurians' optical membranes were contracting in what their species expressed as profound emotional response. That Thurian soldier's name is Crickster, Maya said. After this battle, he requested permanent assignment to human units. When I interviewed him, he said that William's actions reminded him of something he'd forgotten, that he wasn't just a weapon. He was a person worth saving. She pulled up statistical data. Human units have a 47% higher combat effectiveness rating than comparable mixed-species units. But more significantly, they have a 73% higher morale rating and an 89% higher rate of interspecies cooperation. Because of childhood training, Kalmoth asked, skepticism still evident. Because of childhood love, Maya said. Humans spend their formative years learning empathy, creativity, curiosity, and compassion. They learn that life has value, that individuals matter, that pain should be comforted, not ignored, that problems can be solved through innovation, not just force. She played one final clip. William, in the aftermath of Proxima Threshold, sitting in the memorial garden humans had created on the Academy grounds. He was crying openly, unashamedly, for the comrades they'd lost. Several of the alien instructors shifted uncomfortably. Public display of grief was considered a weakness in most military cultures. 3 days after this footage was recorded, Maya said, William Chen proposed a new tactical protocol for integrated species combat teams. It has since increased our survivability rates by 34%. He created it because he couldn't bear to see more soldiers die. The loss hurt him, personally, deeply, and that pain drove him to innovation. She deactivated the display. Humans don't train children to be soldiers because they understand something we've forgotten. The best warriors aren't made through childhood conditioning. They're made through childhood humanity. Their soldiers fight harder because they were taught that life is precious. They innovate better because they were encouraged to be creative. They cooperate better because they learned empathy before they learned tactics. The room remained silent for a long moment. Finally, Zekthur spoke, his voice uncharacteristically soft. What are you proposing, Instructor Maya? I'm proposing we study human developmental protocols, she said. Not to replace our traditions entirely, but to understand them. Because humans have proven something remarkable, that the path to creating effective warriors might not begin with teaching children to fight. It might begin with teaching them to care. Kalmoth's bioluminescence flickered in a pattern Maya had learned to recognize as deep thought. To train soldiers who know what they're fighting for. Exactly, Maya said. Humans don't create warriors who fight because they were programmed to. They create warriors who fight because they choose to, because they understand what's worth protecting. She looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. I recommend we establish an exchange program, not for military personnel, for educators. Let us learn how humans raise their children to be people first and see what kind of soldiers that philosophy creates. The vote was unanimous. And in the human quarters, William Chen was teaching a young Vexarian cadet how to play guitar, unaware that he just changed the course of galactic military doctrine, not through his combat skills, but through the simple humanity his childhood had given him.